8 seemed like the perfect number for sex play. The bar caught her eye on the way to the pizza joint. A conspiracy or just love? The news shrieked fear. It was time to read Penrose's instructions. The apparent need for an heir at least mentally prepared all the relevant engineering divisions. The tea was Bilo Chun, a recognizable scent, a bifurcated incompletion on its musty edges. The roller coaster in the distance made its ceremony romantic, eventually forgetting the necessity of stops. The radio pirated lengths among the stone Buddhas all over the floor. An obsession with headphones, pays, and cesium. The next element we thought we would never find here. Atoms are violating parity. The shoestrings had to be retied so that both her feet felt equally entrapped. A nervous tick or a painful fingernail to help her relate to encountered humans. The military could build a thorium reactor, moon dust white in the sun's light. The electrical engineer had to take measurements from the visionary's black stones every day. Carl was named after a fat roll his mother made. Teal hair fades badly. We shave it off. Keywords cost money to mine. The bag of white powder was buried in a coffee ground sample. The bong was buried in potpourri. One skunk eats garbage, the raised tail of love poised for any sudden door movement. How many raccoons could possibly fit under that tiny house? Gladness that the crate of fireworks leaked rainwater. She had to confiscate the bottle of clear white liquid and hide it in her closet. 3 or 4 DIY vinyl records left in the corner. A city of lights summarized in the logo on a black t-shirt. Photo shoots of duck-faced eaters. Consummation of fascist architecture. The Oregon State Capitol building was a short walk from Mitchell's dorm. Second time around, she researched healthy lollipop alternatives to smoking. A canvas keeps changing. The homework would never be turned in. A clean, well-lit study room was the antithesis of calm. Recognition of multiplicity is movement in time. The small animal computed with quantum algorithms. A search engine bogged by humanity. Voices raised over the clicking keys. Piano timing is essential to pink dresses and fake California blonde hair. She's not tall enough to be my daughter. Where do you define fractals if there are no integers to go between? The flask turned tea into wine. Rumi mumbled from his fuzzy blanket in the corner. The assignment was to write a play about 3 philosophers of choice. Our intellect can only be read as aggression, the computations of a super recursive algorithm. Every member of the band signed the title page. She stepped back slowly, in shock. A plan to ride the Trans-Siberian Railroad. One traveler in the group must be fluent, a person that just wakes up one day and runs a half marathon. The lines between separate personas begin to blur. Chuck was close. What about when the blindness turns to face the other direction? Flowers need to be seen. The evolution of color in the plant kingdom. Who is the mother mushroom of the plant kingdom? Tie the paper towel like fabric. Tea bags die better than eucalyptus leaves. Trees blowing sparkles like silent chimes. Taken down, not fallen. She kept hanging them up. The ferry that we visited used a tiny typewriter to write out advice to children. Brains fresh from the void ran more complex algorithms. The foods on the plate cannot be touching. Both grandmothers with the same poster. A purple blotch of mistakes became Empire Maybeck. How many times does a word reappear in the text? Joyce would have counted carefully. The portrait was a series of instructions discounted as brushstrokes. Music covers up the quietness of thought. Toes dip into the magic pond, and pretty nymphs kiss them. How to describe all of reality via the 5 positions. A stream of vector consciousness rotating about the central trunk. She was convinced that the meeting had been planned. Excuse me. The trick with the envelope effectively confused for 2 years. Waking up next to a puddle of piss on the ground floor of the ugliest building at Johannes Gutenberg University. There was plenty of time to get a Russian visa. Nicest things about everyone she'd ever loved, plummeting through a sea of changing colors. Hands of the same size are conducive to holding. The hot tub with a perfect view of the shadowed mountain range, freestyling on opium is the new peer pressure, a continental divide that encouraged water down mostly the eastern slope. The roommate jogs alongside the human embodiment of Seabiscuit. Reese's disputed self-actualizer reappearing in a recently produced show. It is a bright and stormy morning. There is nothing we can do about the rain. It's better for studying anyways. Each key has hit a button to make a satisfying click. Solving an integral using U substitution rather than remembering or deriving trig identities. A non-compact manifold taming itself inward. An algorithm begging to be updated. The snow leopard shares a mother's name. She should read that series out loud. Objects strewn everywhere and a bookshelf full of youthful science fiction. If she reads the prelude to him, will the foundations settle? Set down the thick-walled red tubing with red ties. At least the weather has been expected to be this wild, so no one could hold her accountable. A brush with the truth, the internet agreed. The huge concrete mixing truck made noise and took up tons of space. How many of the young hippie volunteers brought their lunches?